With online teaching, it's a little bit more challenging to play games with your students. It takes a little bit more preparation. The tools are going to be different because the only stuff you can manipulate is going to be on your computer. So I want to show you something that you can do in Microsoft Word. I do this for my own students when it is time for them to review vocabulary that they already know. And so I'm going to turn that into a guessing game. And the way this works is I will have one student be the guesser. They need to turn around, show me the back of the head, maybe leave the room, and then I will move this rectangle to reveal a word. I show the word to everybody else, so everybody else knows what the word is. Now I hide the word, just put the rectangle back, and now they will begin to give clues, and the other student is going to guess. The way that I've put this document together is I have both the vocabulary words as well as their definitions. So as you can see, when I move the other box, I'm revealing the definitions. And if I want, I can just move this a little bit at a time. So I'm just giving one clue at a time. Now, as the teacher, I want my students to do most of the work. I want them to be as engaged as possible. So having my own clues and my own definitions here is more or less a backup plan to help the class out during times when they are having difficulty giving good clues or good definitions to help the other one to guess successfully. And one of the things that I do in this activity is, as students are giving their clues, I write them down. That way they can see what clues have already been given. That helps out the guesser. It helps the people that are giving the clues so that they don't repeat themselves. But it also improves my document because now I'm going to have more and more clues for the next time that I do that lesson with a class. Now, I want to talk briefly about how to do this with a Word document. The rectangles are just pictures that I have added into the document. So one thing that you can do is get into an image editor, or if you're already familiar with some Chinese stuff, you can use WeChat, which is what I'm doing right here. Just take a screenshot of blank space and then add over top of that your red outline. Save your screenshot. Now, boom, you have an image. But you'll notice that I cannot put this image over the words in the document. Instead, it just moves around in between the words. And so what I need to do is to right-click on the picture and go into the Wrap Text options, and I want to choose In Front of Text. Now, after doing that, I have a graphic that can float on top of the text and hide the text behind it. And of course, it's nice and easy to resize this any way that I want. There will be some times if you are working with a document like this and doing these floating pictures where the document will fight you a little bit. Another thing I want to point out is when it's time to make more rectangles, just select one, go Control C, copy, Control V, paste, and you'll notice that the location where it pasted was almost, it was very close to what I was copying from. And it's always going to do that. For example, let's see. Here's a page where I've got a whole bunch of these things put together. If I copy from here and then I scroll down here and now I want to paste, the document jumped way up high to where I was previously. So that's one of the ways it'll kind of fight you. So now it's like, oh God, I got to drag this down, scroll, drag it down, scroll, drag it down, scroll. Now I can cover something that I wanted to cover. So that's just kind of a small thing that it can be irritating though. So keep it in mind that as you are going, you want to kind of paste that in, drag it down. Always keep one of these on your screen until you're done with your whole document. So, I've kind of drug it down. Now I can copy from here and paste, and I'm not jumping around in my document. I have a place for it to work that's nearby every time I paste a new box in. They're all nearby to where I want to be. So kind of have your work moving with you when you're doing this. And sometimes if you have a really big box, let's find one of my big boxes in here. Like maybe I have about like 2 paragraphs of text that I want to cover up. So I'm going to make this big box and oh my God, what just happened? Here's this tiny box, big box here, and that's going to kind of fight with me a little bit, and I don't know how to articulate that. It's something that you're going to experience yourself, though, and the solution for that is to hold down Control and press Enter, and you'll notice when I press Control Enter, it puts a line on my page. And you'll see in my document there's places where I've put in some of these lines already. And what that line is it just starts a new page. So where that line is, that's the top of my new page, right below that line. So sometimes you'll have stuff that wants to run off of the page, and then your content is going to start overlapping because of different sizes. So what you do is you just create a new page, and the process for that is really simple. Just place your cursor where you want the page, where you want to start the new page, hold down Control, boom, press Enter. That's it. And so now you know everything that you need to put together a document that can be used for a very simple guessing game. And that's just one simple technique that you can use to add a fun activity into what would otherwise be a pretty boring lesson, especially if it's going to be conducted online.